Introduction.
You can.
Yeah, I can. What is going on, all you profitable stylists and all you future profitable stylists out there? This week, we have a very special guest with us, and we have an awesome topic to go over with you. We got Alexis, who is with On Stage, works with Bernard, works with our group, both in the salon and in the hair extensions brand as well, too. And now she has joined the rank and file of all you future hairdressers out there. She is on her way to becoming a future profitable stylist herself. She will become one of our future six-figure income people. What's going on, Alexis? Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So both of us cannot be nervous. So I need you to hold it together so we can get so I can get through this.
You're not allowed to be nervous.
We're always messing around, you know. Every time we've had a guest speaker come on, they're always like, I don't know what to do. What are we going to talk about? What if this? What if that? And it's like, nah, man, it's fine. It's fine, you know. Always goofing off as it goes. All right. So let's get right into it. Oh, do you want to do a self-introduction or should we just get right into it?
I'm Alexis. Hi.
And that's all you need to know. I hate when I'm teaching classes. It's like, oh, introduce yourself. It's like, hi, I'm Eddie. The other one's like, hi, Eddie. It's like, I'm not making fun, but it really feels like an AA meeting. You know? Like, it messes me up so bad. So it's like, all right, fine, it's cool. The whole thing to becoming a six-figure income stylist or just a six-figure income earner in general, it doesn't matter what industry you are in, because overall, it's the same journey. The specific things that we do might be slightly different here and there, but at the end of the day, everybody's putting in the same level of work, and that's what it comes down to, right? Do you like, when I first heard the expression a six-figure income stylist, I was kind of thinking about that, like, what does that even mean? You know, and I've heard it in movies. I had heard it in people talking, you know, I've heard it in people bragging and flexing, but I never truly appreciated or understand what that meant. So until I figured it out, I thought it was such a huge number, which it still is, respectfully so today. I was blown away. Can you think about when is the first time you heard about that expression, six-figure income? And like, what did that mean to you, or how did you think about that?
I've heard it, but I honestly don't know the breakdown of it. So I think that would be helpful if you could break it down.
Cool. Can you take a guess to what the number is for a six-figure income?
100 grand a year.
100 grand a year.
That's right.
Cool, right?
Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. So they say zeros instead of saying zeros, they say figures.
Okay,
it's a taunting term, something or other, which over my head, I'm not an accountant. I don't know. But then 100 grand a year, that's a lot. So it's like, man, how can we even get to that? That sounds way like, that doesn't sound attainable to a lot of people. It sounds kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
But if you break it down per month and then per week, it's only 2 grand a week. And then if you break that down further, if you work 4 days a week, you just have to make $500 a day.
That's not that bad.
It's really not, you know, because if the average service, if the average service is about $50 to $100 or more behind the chair, like a haircut and a blow dry, anywhere to a hair color is even more. It's like $100 and up. You know, hair extensions is a few $100s and up. Hair replacement is like that too. So if you really break down all the services that we do, and if you really think about that, you don't need that many clients. Even if you did $100 service, you would only need 5 clients, you know? And then that's only on 4 days a week. If you work 5 days a week, you only need to make $400 a day. So you only need 4 clients. Even if you charged $50 a service, you know, then you only need 8 clients. Like if you do 1 client an hour, you can easily do it. So it's sounds weird to say that because not everybody is doing it and not everybody is making it. And it's interesting. It's fascinating. Now, for me being in the industry for coming up on 30 years, I have a lot of opinions and I've seen a lot of reasons why. But if I can ask you from a fresh perspective, what would be some of the hangups or what would be some of the things you would think, why can't somebody do 8 clients a day and charge more than $50 a service?
I think some stylists are afraid of losing clients when raising prices. And another issue would be having the clientele. If they don't have enough clients in a day, then they're not going to reach their goal.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And it's very reasonable. It's a very, very reasonable insight. And if imagine from a fresh perspective, meaning you're new to the industry, right? And you fast forward coming up on 30 years later, it's the same thing. Like it never changes. That fear never changes. It's so wild. So wild. So then where did your journey begin? How did you get involved in the beauty industry? Like what made you decide to become a stylist?
So I was and still am the office girl selling the extensions. And a little over a year of doing it, I don't know, I just had like a mind shift, and I was like, I don't want to just sell the hair. I kind of want to do it. So I went in towards some schools, and then I let RJ and Bernard know that I was interested.
That's cool, huh?
Yeah. And that's how it all started.
It's really, really interesting because you could get a job and that could be your work, or you could get a career and that could be your life.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to wake up and live your life than it is to wake up and go to work. Like it's a mindset, you know? It's a total mindset. Now, you mentioned RJ and Bernard. I gotta hear. I gotta hear the story with RJ. Like, how did that interview? How did that conversation? Your first meeting with RJ even go? And how did you go tell RJ? I think I want to become a hairdresser. Like, what was his reaction to that?
Well, he was pretty chill, and I don't know. I have to work myself up to talk about certain things, so I had to work it up in my brain and be like, okay. And I swung my chair around and I was like, hey, RJ, I want to go to hair school. And then he asked if I was serious or like if I wanted to do it. And then he mentioned the program, the apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a pretty short, quick conversation, but he was like, oh, we can make that work.
Total RJ.
Yeah.
So then how did you get hired? You just walk in one day and be like, hey, I want to work here. And he's like, we can make that work.
I mean, kind of. I was downstairs.
No, serious. Okay, I got to hear this one.
Okay, so I impulsively wanted a haircut. So I just Googled nearby salons and found On Stage. And I was getting my hair cut, and the girl cutting my hair was like, oh, we're actually hiring upstairs, probably because I was complaining about the job I had at the time. And RJ just happened to walk by, and she asked him, hey, are y'all still hiring upstairs? And he was like, yeah. So he ended up sitting in the chair next to me while I was getting my hair done and gave me like an on-the-spot interview. And then he mentioned that he had an interview the next morning, and depending on how that would go, he would contact me. But I woke up at like 8:30 the next day with a text saying the job was mine if I wanted it. So I don't think the interview went well.
That interview did not go well.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I got the job. So
that's hilarious. That's awesome. Yeah. And that is another total RJ thing. I freaking love the guy, man. He's awesome. So yeah, it cracks me up. He's a good guy. He's a really, really good guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool as hell. So now you get into apprenticing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting your hair done as a client, you have a certain perspective, you know, like when my uncle and my aunt were hairdressers, and they did a lot of things in the industry like you're seeing Bernard do in the industry and I do in the industry with the shows and the photo shoots and videos and stuff like that. So I was younger at the time, and I just remember the one weekend my uncle, he's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? You ain't got nobody to babysit you. I got to watch you this weekend. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I got a photo shoot to go to. You coming to work? You know, get dressed. Okay. You know, like I had no idea what I was walking into at all. It was so wild seeing the behind the scenes of this thing. You know, it was so wild. And I was like, I told my uncle right then and there, I want to be a hairdresser. Like, I want to be the cool guy like you. I want everybody to come up to me and ask me 1,000 questions and be in charge of stuff, you know? And I thought I was going to be a total rock star. I start going to school, learning to become a hairdresser, and the amount of stuff that you have to go through to learn to become a hairdresser before you can actually do a client. You know those memes where you have like fantasy versus reality? And there can't be further from each other, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My entire fantasy was shattered into a kabillion pieces. So that's my question for you. Like, how coming into this from the perspective of, oh, okay, cool, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to be in a salon, or I'm going to work for a hair company, versus you start working for a hair company and now you're in a salon. Like, how has that mindset or fantasy versus reality thing happened to you?
Well, honestly, I thought doing hair would be a lot easier, but it's not. I remember practicing on the mannequin. I thought my work was great, and I'd go show Bernard, and he'd be like, nope, do it again. So, yeah, you kind of think that you do a great job, and then you go get it checked by your teacher, and you get a reality check.
Isn't it wild? You're looking at this thing. You just spent all this time on this mannequin head. You're looking at it, you're like, yeah, cool.
That's
like,
pretty
I did
good.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
You go put it on and all excited, and it's like, oh, no.
Does he start pointing out to you stuff? You're like, oh, yeah, this here and that there. And
oh, yeah. The perfect example would be when I was practicing the foil highlights on the mannequin. I remember the first one I did, I took it home to do it. So I just had complete, like, attention on the mannequin and doing it with no distractions. And I remember thinking to myself, how is he even going to check this? And I brought it into work, and I was like, I don't know how you're going to check this, but I did this highlight. I think it's pretty good. He started flipping through the hair and foils, and he pointed out so many flaws, bleed marks, my sections weren't even, my weaves weren't even. And I was like, oh, okay, so you can check this.
Yeah, right. We know. We really know.
Yeah.
It's really wild, you know, it's really, really wild. Yeah, and that's without distractions.
Yeah, and I thought it was great. I thought my first highlight was wonderful. No.
See that? It's so wild. It's so wild. There's so many things to learn. But it's so much fun. It's interesting that you say that without distractions, because now when you're working, you got to be able to talk, carry a conversation, think about what you're doing on this person, and then you got to think about the plan ahead for the same. Forget about thinking about the next person that's coming in or whatever else is in the back of your mind. You know, you got to think about just focusing on the task at hand and giving a service to a client too. You're not just doing the service on the hair itself. You're also keeping the client entertained simultaneously. Are you good at multitasking? Are you good at juggling like that?
I am now. I remember my mom came to visit, and this is during the period where he was still having me practice my highlights on the mannequin. And my mom would not stop talking to me when I was trying to work on my mannequin. And I literally packed up everything, put the foils away, cleaned my bowls, my brushes, and then about 5 minutes later, I was like, you know what? I need to finish this highlight because that's reality. Someone's going to be talking to me while I'm doing it. So I might as well just do it now. So I pulled everything back out, and I let my mom sit there and have a conversation while I sat there and foiled a full highlight on a mannequin.
It's stressful, right?
It took longer because she was distracting me, and I was trying to learn how to pay attention to what I was doing while holding a conversation with her. But I think it was a good practice run.
So it's a great practice run, because that I don't say distraction, but like it is.
It's reality, because you're not going to have there's some clients that are quiet, but majority of the time they're going to be talking to you while you're doing their hair. Yeah.
So it's wild. It is kind of hilarious too, because it only gets better as time goes on for multiple reasons. Some clients are going to be talking and you're going to get done and you're going to try to turn around to walk away, but they're still talking.
Oh yeah.
And then you're like, wait, I'm done doing my service. Oh, but I'm stuck here still in a conversation with you. Like, what's my exit strategy, you know?
Yeah.
So not only are you going to be working on getting your timing down for performing the service, you're also going to have to get your timing down on controlling a conversation and guiding it to where like the midpoint of the conversation should be to line up with where the midpoint of your service is. And then you can start winding down the conversation.
So you're not just rudely walking away and like, okay, I'm done.
Otherwise, you're just awkwardly standing around with nothing to do, leaning across your station, you know, just like,
Yeah. Well, sometimes mid foil when I run out of bleach, they're like deep into a conversation and I'm looking at my bleach bowl like I'm gonna have to walk away to go mix some more here in a second, and then you just kind of have to awkwardly tell them like, okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go get some more bleach. So that does happen.
It will always happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it will only ever happen on the most serious conversations.
Oh yeah, it's always when they're like deep into something serious or sensitive, and I'm like, seems kind of rude to interrupt, but I have to.
I make fun of therapists a lot. And one of my favorite therapy jokes, and it's like everybody makes the same similar joke, right? Hey, great breakthrough, but we're out of time. We'll see you next week. Same time next week. Hold that thought. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, oh my gosh. So, all right, cool. Then let's get into this. We're going to get a little deep into the roadmap to success. Okay. So we're going to start off with, what are some of your short-term goals? Have you created any? Have you decided on any? Have you talked this out with Bernard?
I know I need to build a good clientele, and he broke down how many clients I would need to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to guess the number?
How many clients you need to become successful?
Yes.
I mean, it used to be about 250 to 300 clients. It used to be.
Okay. Yeah, he said about 160. Man, so I guess that number's come down some.
It's so 160. Wow.
And it could vary depending on the services that you're providing.
No, you know what though? Think about this. So 160 clients, that's one client at a time, being very relaxed, no stress, you know, no double booking, no triple booking, no, you know, man. So with a good amount of add-ons, with a good amount of solid services and foundations, and then with the services that we have available nowadays, yeah, 160. Okay. You know, we used to do, you know, it was just haircut and hair color. Mm-hmm. If you got a perm, that was like your big money day was a perm, you know. Hair extensions was very secret. Not everybody, it wasn't as widely accepted as it is nowadays. So hair extensions was done. You just nobody knew you were doing them. You didn't do them that often. You'd have to come in super early or really late at night. You know, you'd have to come in on a day off, stuff like that. So 160. All right, to me, that's amazing. That's such a, to me, to my perspective, that's such an easy week. To you, is that a big number? Is that a lot of clients, or is that reasonable?
Yeah, to me, that still sounds like a lot. But over time, I guess when you start to build your clientele and they're coming back and you get new ones that come back, it probably just adds on over time. And then before you know it, you're like, wow, I'm there.
So 160 clients, but then how often do they have to be coming in?
I believe every 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yes.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's not that bad. That's, what is that, 40 clients a week? If my math is right.
Probably so.
That's a handful of clients a day.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
And that's just based on highlights.
Based on highlights.
Yeah, I believe that's based on highlights. So adding in cuts and other services within that, you're probably even more well off.
Oh, nice. Okay, okay, okay. So then that's really reasonable. See, breaking it down is so important. When you have your short-term goals, and then you create your long-term tongue
I'm
twister here, right? If you break it down into smaller bits and numbers, you realize it's not that hard. It's really, really not that hard. I think one of the problems is people create these big things and then it's unachievable or it looks like a big mountain they have to climb and they can't get over it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's really super easy. That's super simple. So now starting off with 0 clients, you're going to have to attract clients.
Yes.
What are some of the strategies that you've developed or have been taught or have seen or you're learning to get somebody in, behind the chair?
So Bernard taught me to offer free foil highlights. He thinks that's a good moneymaker and a good place to start. So I use social media to advertise. We have these little mommy pages in our
Yeah.
community. So I think girls have an advantage with that. So I post in there. You can post in there once a week for your small business. And that's how I've attracted clients. I go in there and I post like a free foil highlight post, and a bunch of people comment, of course. And then from there, you message and figure out what they want and get them booked.
That is such a skill set in itself that
Mhm.
you may or may not even realize. So many people are afraid to mention what they do. You talk to somebody like, "Hey, what do you do for work?" I work in an office. Meh, meh, meh." You're like, "Oh, how's your day going?" Same crap, different day. Meh, meh, meh. It's really wild. But when you talk to a hairstylist, you're going to get one of two things. You're going to get, "Yeah, I'm a hairdresser," or you're going to get, "Man, I'm a freaking stylist, man. I love doing hair." So we kind of have that same thing in ourselves. But if nobody knows what you're doing and who you are, then how is anybody going to know?
Yeah.
You can't. There's the old expression like build it and they will come. Well, a lot of people are like, "Yeah, well, I built this, nobody showed up." I don't think you understand the full meaning of what that means. It's building it is not just building the business, it's building the awareness as well. That's really what it comes down to. So being in social groups like this and getting your name out there. A lot of people think, "Oh, why am I even going to work? I'm not even getting paid. It's not even worth working. I might as well just sit home." Free is a very powerful thing because free gives you, first of all, there's no strings attached. Somebody can come in and get their hair done, right? Or somebody can come in and experience what you have to offer, your user experience. But then it also gives you another no strings attached. It was for free. So you get to do whatever the hell you want, you know?
Yeah.
And the greatest way to learn is, like you were talking about earlier with those mannequin heads, is to make a mistake or to think you did really good and then be pointed out how it could be better. And then it just motivates you to grow and learn even more. And then, like you were talking about your mom, that having a conversation, trying to juggle that with focusing on the task at hand. This is now other people. And sometimes with family, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. But then with a stranger, sometimes it's easier. It might be slightly more awkward sometimes,
I
but
think it's
sometimes
easier for me with a stranger.
you do, right?
Yeah.
How does that work? How does that break down?
I don't know. It's just like I feel like if I don't know you, it's easier to be myself, especially because doing hair is more one on one and not like a group thing. So for some reason, I'm just more comfortable if I don't know you.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally, totally makes sense. So now you got this person in, they're going to get a free service. So then while you're doing the service, are there certain things that you're making sure, like, do you have a checklist? And there are certain things that during the appointment, while the person is sitting there getting their hair done by you, you're like, "All right, I need to talk to this person about this, and this."
I don't.
You don't.
No.
Okay. If
Maybe I
that's
do though, but I don't.
if you okay, let's use this as a strategy session. What are some things that if you were to take a guess, if you could just think about it, first thing comes to your head, Thinking about it now, the last couple of clients that you just did, what are some of the things that you can guess, oh, maybe I should have said this, or maybe I should have approached it this way from a business perspective?
Okay, so my last client was a partial blonding. I got her pretty blonde, so I probably should have offered her correct products to maintain that brightness in her hair.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, that would have
That's a
been
really good one.
that would have been smart.
Did you walk her up to the front desk, or did you have an opportunity to walk her up to the front desk after the appointment was completed?
Did. Yeah, I usually walk all my clients to the front desk, snap some photos, and then check them out.
Cool, super cool. And then how do you suggest to them to rebook?
I don't really give them an opportunity. I just ask if they would like to come back on this day, and they say yes or no. And then I kind of explain, especially if they're getting highlights, that the toner is going to fade. So like the color that they're leaving with isn't going to last forever. If they want to maintain it, they will have to come back.
That in itself is where, even at any point in anybody's career, a lot of people struggle with rebooking their appointments.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Now, this is something that I've learned, especially in this past recent year. I was in a really bad car accident, so I've been going to a lot of doctors and physical therapies and specialists and stuff like that. There is no choice. Like, you walk up to the front desk, and it's not even would you like to, what do you think of this date? This is this is that. It is, okay, thank you, Edward. Nice to see you. You know, we will see you again on July 3rd at 9 a.m. Here is your reminder card. And I'm like, wait, what? How do you even know I'm available on that day? No, doctor is available on July 3rd at 9 a.m. and that's when he will see you next. Oh, okay. I guess I'm just going to rearrange everything else. It's like, or else what? It's like, well, then the next time he could see you is in the year 2050, and be in pain until then. Good luck. It's such a wild mindset. Now, to me, that's very extreme, and that makes me kind of mad. But I use that extreme example because everybody knows, and they've got this in their head, that if they don't take that appointment, it's gone. And the next time they can get in is who knows. So it's called FOMO. Do you know FOMO? FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. If you don't jump on it right now, that's not going to end well, you know? Now, our industry is a lot more personable, and it's a lot more relationship driven. So we can't, I say we can't, we could, but I don't think we should go that extreme. But I like how you're saying, oh, you know, madam, your toner is not going to last forever. To really maintain it the nice way, I should see you back here in about 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And in 4 weeks, it would be the week of, you know, July 3rd or August 10th or whatever that beginning of that week is, right? So then usually what I'll do in the salon, I'll be like, you know, I know you like coming in the evenings. My late night that week is a Thursday night. Sometime after 5, 6 o'clock work for you? So I'm still asking them if they'd like to do it and if that's okay, but I'm kind of guiding it a little bit more with halfway nudging them along to where I want to see them. Does that kind of make sense?
It does, yeah.
Thinking about it that way, does that feel natural to you? Is that a way you would be able to do it to your client?
Yeah, I'd be able to do that.
You'd totally be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a little desk calendar or a little like a foldable calendar?
I just log in on my phone to view my work calendar.
Okay. Reason why I was asking is because, you know, like the old flip calendar, you know, they have this thing
like the paper calendars.
Yes, you know, back in the day we used to print things. No, I like showing people a calendar.
Okay, so
it's just something that I do.
Okay.
Right. Because then we're both looking at that, and then we both go to our phone, and then we just pop it in.
Okay. Yeah.
Or on the computer. We'll just pop it in right into the computer. So either way, but that's good. So now the person has come in, they've had a service with you, you've rebooked them for the future. You're showing that person that you have a plan. They may not necessarily know what that plan is, or I hope they do. I hope you've talked it out with them, but they may not know what that paper is for clowns.
Is that RJ?
That's awesome. That's hilarious. I'm old. What can I do? But if you're doing your consultation correctly and you lay out a plan for that client, and then you have to follow up by rebooking them too. So thinking about the consultation, have you practiced doing your consultations yet?
No.
You haven't. Okay.
No, I just let them come in and then I go from there once they're in my chair.
Because you've probably pre-spoken to them a little bit and you have an idea of why they're coming in?
Through messages, yeah.
Through messages and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because right now I'm only working on Saturdays in the salon, so pretty much anyone that comes to me right now is either just a quick cut or a highlight.
So think about this. You've already pre-spoken to them before they've come in. You've actually done a pre-consultation. So you're already halfway there without realizing that you're halfway there. The reason why you should get into this habit, it would be more of an advice, and it's my opinion personal, but it's also as an advice, getting into before you do anything, sit them down in the chair and talk to them. Just spend a minute or two. It could be really quick. It doesn't have to be a dragged out thing. You review why they're there.
Mm-hmm.
You get a read on where their head is at in that moment, because you spoke to somebody on Tuesday. By the time they come on Saturday, who knows what happened during the week to them in their personal life,
Okay.
Or if they got an inspiration to something else, or if they got a different expectation. You just don't know.
Yeah, I've had one of those. I had a lady send me a photo that she wanted caramel highlights, and when she was in my chair and I was confirming with her, she was like, "Oh no, I want brown." So I kind of had to take her back to her inspo photo she showed me and kind of see exactly where her head was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't understand this question, but do you use, I do understand that question. Sometimes there are forms that we can fill out. We can have like a client questionnaire. Do you have access to anything like that? Do you ever use any of those kind of forms?
I haven't used them. I know that we have some down in the salon that I've seen other stylists use before.
It could be a powerful tool as well, because although you're doing a free service right now, you are not going to be doing free services forever. And don't get into the beauty school mindset. What do I mean by that? I'm not saying you are. In beauty school, there's this mindset of, it's just a mannequin, it's just an old lady coming in, I'll focus when I'm actually behind the chair. And you start to develop that mentality, right? And then you just coast through school. But then when you get to the salon, that's all you've been doing for the past year is just coasting with that mentality. You don't realize that becomes your everyday. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So that form is huge because it'll help give you a different perspective on how to approach the service. It just makes it so much more official.
Okay.
Even though it's free, it still makes it so much more official. So when it comes time to charge, it's just natural. It's just like nothing, right?
Okay.
But it also helps guide you through your consults as well too. It keeps you on track, and then when somebody hits you with, "Oh no, I want brown now," and you had just spoken to them about blonde, you're not left with that curveball. The worst feeling ever for a hairdresser at any year in their career is when the client hits them with something out of left field and they weren't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, it makes you scared. And then it's like fight or flight. You either shut down or you got to like power through the thing,
Yeah.
All right. So that's cool. That's cool. Have you been thinking about, or have you gone over any retail products?
And no, that's something I need to learn a little bit more about so I can have knowledge to try to sell.
Okay. The as you see with working in the office with the hair extensions, they're only as good as how good you can maintain them. You know, it's the same thing with haircut. It's the same thing with hair color. It's the same thing with a blow dry style. You know yourself. You have beautiful long hair. That hair, well, I mean, you are magical. So you just wake up and go like this, and it just magically falls into the place, right?
Oh, and I have extensions.
And you have extensions. So you just wake up, roll out of bed, and go like this, and the hair extensions just magically fall into the place.
Oh no.
Oh no. So see, it's the same way. It's the same way. You got to just thinking about all the trials you got to go through every morning to get yourself put together. The client's got to do the same exact thing. And you just don't know what you don't know. So you got to have those conversations with those clients. You got to explain it to them. Getting them guided into a retail regimen, in addition to doing the consultation, in addition to doing the service, and having that fun conversation with them, or having a targeted conversation to, why you're doing what you're doing today and how it's going to look like in the future, and then rebooking them afterwards at the end. This is all part of the user experience. This is what sets you apart from the next stylist. You would be shocked how many stylists don't do that. It sounds like such a given thing. So many people don't do that. Have you heard of a thing called journaling?
Yes.
So what is your take on that? What does that mean to you? Because everybody has a different perspective on it.
Kind of like a diary?
Kind of like a diary. Yep.
Okay.
Have you ever tried it? Do you ever, from a business well, I guess doesn't matter if you do it from personal, but from a business perspective, have you ever tried to do it, or have you ever thought about doing one?
The most I've done would just be like writing down the client's formulas.
Okay.
I don't know if that would be a part of it, but
that would be a part of it. Yes. Would you agree if I said to you, you have an Instagram, or you're taking before and afters of your clients too?
Yeah, I post the majority of the hair stuff on Facebook.
On Facebook. Okay. Does that count
as journaling? What's the comment say?
Paper again, because I'm talking about journaling and diary. I was trying to segue to the modern day digital form, which is social media. In digital form nowadays, your Facebook posting before and after pictures counts as journaling. Okay. Mr. Smarty Pants over there with the comments. That is now your new portfolio, because, okay, fine. Yeah. Back in the day when we had paper, we had to do the roll Kodak disposable camera. We had to run it over to a photo booth. They had these little pop-up photo booths. Okay. You could get the 1 hour photo if you were really fancy. And then you'd have to go get this massive freaking book, and you'd have to slide all the pictures into the picture book.
For your before and afters?
For your before and after finishes, yeah. And then you'd have this big honking thing like this thick, and that's how you knew if you were good or if you were new or if you were like a long time. How thick was your portfolio book, or how many did you have? And that was on the coffee table in the waiting area of the salon.
So when clients came in, they could just flip through it.
And they'd just be looking at all your other clients and all the other stuff you've done, Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so much easier now with digital.
Yeah.
So much easier now. But it's a good way of keeping track of yourself too, to kind of see in a month, this is what I've accomplished and this is what I've done. And then in another month, this is what I've accomplished and this is what I've done. The other thing about a digital, like journaling, you have a note app on your phone at a minimum. Like, you don't have to download a whole app for it if you don't want to, right? But you can list out your short-term goals. 160 right now, 160 clients is a short-term goal for you. And you can, list that out. I'm at 20, I'm at 30, I'm at 40, you know, and then all the way up. You kind of keep track of where you're at. On this date, I'm at this many. You can also say, this week, I want to have 5 conversations with somebody I don't know. And then at the end of the week, you're like looking at your notes and you're going, oh, I only talked to 2 people this week. I didn't talk to nobody this week. Who the hell did I think I was going to run into 5 people? Like, where did I think that was going to happen? Right. So, and that could be anywhere. Does that sound reasonable? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you had to think about that, what are a couple of quick things? Like, does it trigger any ideas for you in the moment?
I know in the past other stylists have gone to like the grocery stores to hand out business cards, so that would be a good way to do that.
Sure. Business cards. Wait, are you allowed to pass out business cards because that's paper?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only paper thing we have.
Digital, pass your contact with the airdrop, you know?
We have printed business cards.
I'm teasing. Business cards are a powerful tool. You know, business cards are still a very powerful tool. And the grocery store is a perfect place. I love the grocery store. That's where you're running into everyday people. And that's where they're just in that mindset to be in that checklist. I got to get milk. I got to get eggs. I got to get my hair done. It's really a huge thing. It's really, really a huge thing. The other way you can do it is simply asking somebody for their contact number or their contact information, and then having the office call and do it for you.
In person?
No, just over the phone or through text or through media.
Okay.
You know, like if you run into somebody in the moment and it's feeling like it's kind of there, but it's kind of awkward, no strings attached. If you don't mind, you know, share me your Insta, share, I'll DM you or give me your phone number or give me your email. Something that's committal and non-committal both at the same time. When you're getting a new client, it's kind of weird. Would you agree if I said to you, it's kind of like asking somebody out for the first time?
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for you because you're a girl. You could just pull the I have a boyfriend, don't talk to me card. Look at you nodding your head. How many times do you do that to people? But like even you being a girl or a woman speaking to another woman, it's still kind of awkward trying to ask them to come in.
Yeah. Slightly.
What does some of that awkwardness sound like?
Well, for me, because again, like I only work on Saturdays, so technically I get booked pretty fast. So I'm asking them to come get a service, but I'm like, hey, I'm not available for like another 8 weeks. Can you wait? And that's kind of like that's kind of taking a chance because they could be like, I don't want to wait that long.
You can also think about it as a super flex. You know, they don't know that you're only available to work on Saturdays. It's how you present yourself. You got to put yourself in the mindset of Saturdays are my free day. Not, okay, so yeah, you're only taking appointments right now on Saturdays because you're new, right?
Right.
But if I'm meeting you for the first time, I have no idea you're new. I have no idea what you're doing. And I don't know, have any idea of why you're doing that. So the conversation goes, hey, I'm Alexis. I'm new. I'm starting to take clients on Saturdays now. So I need to bring people in to fill up my book. Could you come in on Saturday for a free service? Is that okay? And you're kind of like, please, you know, it's like, yeah. Mommy, can I have cookie? You know, it's like a kid asking their parent, you know, for something. Versus, hi, I'm Alexis. I'm a new stylist at this salon. And I'm taking appointments on Saturdays to introduce myself to the neighborhood. I'm offering free services right now, but only on Saturday. Would you be interested? I book up really, really fast. So if you're available, my first opening isn't for another 8 weeks. You might have to get your hair done in between now and then. Or if you want to wait, I'll give you a free service in 8 weeks. But that's how well I'm doing right now, that I'm booked that far out. What do you think? Are you interested? You see the difference in the presentation?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So how does that second version sound to you?
That I'm more successful, that I do great work, that people are booking to come see me. So I'm booked out.
Book out,
Yeah.
right? It's
Well, because like if you're new and you have all this open time and no one's coming to see you, that's kind of a red flag, I think, too.
a
Like
red flag in what way?
if you're explaining like, hey, I'm new, my books aren't full, pick a date whenever you want to come, that doesn't really sound like someone you would want to go to, in my opinion.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. And that's painfully true,
Yeah.
right? And especially in the beginning, man, when I first started, I've told stories like this before on here too. When I first opened the salon, I just thought magically people were going to walk in. And I was sitting there playing cards. I was washing the walls. Forget about sweeping the floors and cleaning the stations. I started washing the walls. I was bored out of my freaking mind, you know? And then I made that mistake. The first person who walked in through that door, I was like a golden retriever, oh, somebody, your owner's home. And I came freaking running in like crazy. I scared the person off until I finally calmed down. And then all of a sudden it's like somebody would walk in, hey, can I get an appointment? The salon is completely empty. Yeah, sure. When do you want to get your hair done? Well, can you take me right now? Nope. Not available right now. Oh, are you guys even open right now? Actually, I'm not. I just happen to have the door open. You just walked in. It's okay. Come on over to the desk. Let me book you an appointment, right? When would you like to come in? Now I'm looking at the book. Empty, 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 empty. Do you have Wednesday at 7? Nope. But I could do 10. You gotta build that in. You gotta build in that scarcity.
Okay.
It's a complete mindset. Do you have a favorite type of service that you like doing?
Right now, highlights. I think I've done it so much that I just enjoy it at this point. Yeah.
You're enjoying it, right?
I do, yeah.
So what kind of highlights do you do?
I like baby lights.
Baby lights?
Nice blended. I don't really like the big chunky. I haven't had anyone come to me wanting the big chunky, but I don't think I would favor it very much.
I'm a new client. I've just met you. We're at the grocery, right? And you introduce yourself. We get into talking. And you're going to pitch me on the type of hairdresser you are.
Oh, goodness.
Right? Or the type of services that you're performing right now. You're going to give me that 30-second commercial, they call it, So have you practiced one? Do you have one?
I have not practiced.
All right. Let's have fun. Let's just have fun. Hit me with a 30-second commercial.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alexis. I specialize in baby highlights. Would you like to come in and get a free appointment?
Sounds good. Where are you at?
On Stage Hair Studio.
On Stage Hair Studio.
So I would include where I'm located in the first spiel. Okay.
Right. You want it? So hit me again. Try. Just have fun. Just have fun. Hit me again with it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alexis. I specialize in baby highlights. I'm located on Stage Hair Studio. Would you like to come get a free service?
Yeah, sure. How much they cost?
Well, it's free.
For now?
For now, yeah.
Oh. See how we build that out?
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. Give me one more.
Oh, I don't know.
No. Just with the free, you're on stage, you're doing your services, you're available on Saturdays.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alexis. I specialize in baby highlights at Onstage Hair Studio. I'm only available on Saturdays. Would you like to come get booked? Or would you like to come have an appointment with me?
And I would love to do your hair.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Now, I just got you a short clip commercial. You can go post that on the social media now.
Post it on my TikTok page.
Hell yes, absolutely, right? And if you want, after we're done with this one, actually, yeah, let's finish up. Let's round this up so you can go record yourself, so you can do yourself a little selfie short, Look at this. Alexis is the highlight queen.
Ooh.
So you've done a highlight recently on somebody and you just got your first comment.
Okay.
So how about that? Say thank you, you love them and all that good stuff too, right?
Thank you so much.
All right. This is Alexis, our new stylist with Onstage Studio. Onstage Hair Salon? Onstage?
Onstage Hair Studio.
Onstage Hair Studio. You can follow her. We'll put a link in the description so you can check her out. You can contact the salon, try to get in an appointment. She is booked out, which is awesome. You are doing exceptionally well.
Thank you.
And you freaking rock. When I call the office and I get you on the phone, I just automatically get happy because I know things are going to get taken care of, you know, and I'm going to get to goof off, which I love to do. So definitely what I would love to do is to bring you back on periodically and just kind of check in with you on your journey and see where you're at. Does that sound okay?
That sounds good.
Cool. Super cool. You want to say bye to everybody?
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all for watching. Happy 4th of July weekend coming up this weekend. Be safe, everybody. Enjoy. Leave us a comment. Let us know how much you love Alexis.
Thumbs
Catch
up.
y'all next week. Thumbs up.